YouTube, what's going on, guys? My name is Mike and I'm back with another video. And today I have a pretty cool one for you guys. We're going to be digging up a burning bush hedge. Actually a couple. So this is one we just finished. This is what it'll look like when you're all done. So I'm going to go through step by step how we get it from the ground to this. Stay tuned, guys. Okay, so now we're going to be digging this one out. This is one that we haven't done yet, but when we're done with it, it's going to look like that one over there that we just showed you. So some of the tools we're going to need to do this is, one, a nice sharp spade for cutting some of the roots around the ball itself. Two, you might need a pickaxe to cut some of the bigger roots from other trees in the area or getting under a rock or something like that, breaking up hard clay. And three, you're going to need some rope. We're using 3-ply rope here, but you can really use any rope necessary for tying the branches in a tight configuration so that you can work around the root ball without getting poked in the eye and in the face. So, and also you're going to want to use burlap if you're transporting the bush out of your yard. If you're taking it on a trailer or moving it away from your property or out of a field to a property, you're going to want to use burlap for this so that the root ball doesn't shake all the soil out in transportation. In our particular case, we're using we're just moving the bush from one part of the yard to another part of the yard, and we're going to be very careful in the transportation process from here to there, so we won't be knocking and loosening all the soil up. But if you have burlap, you definitely want to use it. We don't have it in this case, so we're not going to use it. We're going to be extremely careful. All right, let's get digging on this thing. Okay, so I positioned you guys underneath the tree here. So what I did was I took my rope and you just tie it off on a low branch. So this is the bottom of the tree here, of the bush here. I just tied it off at about 12 inches up on a branch. And the reason for that is we're gonna wrap this rope around the tree to tighten up all the branches and get them in a nice packed up configuration for the move. So I'll show you guys how you wrap around, but it's important to note that you do have to tie your rope off at the bottom. Okay, so we have it tied off at the bottom. Now what we want to do is we want to work our way underneath and try to get all the branches in. We want to really push our body up against the tree. You won't hurt it. And you want to just work the rope around the shrub itself. And we really want to tighten it up. Okay. And then you just tie it off at the bottom here or at the top, wherever you can tie it off on. And that's it. That tightens it up. And if you guys are prone to getting rashes or have sensitive skin, you can definitely wear a long sleeve shirt or a hoodie for that process, because you do rub your body along and it rubs your arms. I don't have too many allergies, or I'm not, my skin isn't very sensitive, so I just go right in for it. But yeah, let's get digging on this. I'll show you guys how to start to dig the ball out. Okay, so here we are. We're at the to-be root ball, where we're gonna actually dig our trench around the root ball, and then we'll form our root ball and pop the tree up. So as you can see, we planted these in about 6-7 years ago. So the roots definitely have grown out and they've spread a little bit since we planted. But that initial root ball, when we purchased them from the landscaping company, is still intact, and you can kind of see it. You can kind of see where the original root ball was when we first planted it, and it's kind of in this pattern here. So what we're going to do, and a good rule of thumb, at least that I've learned, is you take your foot and you measure your foot from the base out to the edge, and then you give it another 2 or 3 inches, and that's where you're going to start digging. So as you can see, I've already done that, and we're right around here. If you can see, this is where we're going to start our dig, and we're going to make about a 6 to 8 inch channel around the root ball, and then we're going to start digging down and under the root ball. So let me show you guys how we do this. So we're using the spade here, and we're just going to dig an entire circular, we're just cutting in our initial channel, or what we're digging around the root ball. And depending on the soil you're digging in, this will be easier or harder. I have a tree that we cut down recently. So a lot of those big roots are intertwined with these roots. So it's a little bit tough, but we can get it. All right. Okay, so now that we've shaped the outer ring of our channel that we're going to be digging, we want to actually shape the root ball itself now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our spade and we're going to go do the same process. We're going to go around the shrub itself, and we're just going to shape the root ball. Now you don't want to go too close, but you definitely don't want to go too far. So there's definitely a sweet spot here where you want to kind of follow where the heavy roots kind of separate from the thinner, more wispy, newer roots. And we're going to be cutting a lot of those newer roots away, and we're going to be maintaining the older roots and the main growth of the root system. So let's go ahead and shape that now. Okay, so we've gone around and we just kind of probed the spade in and separated the roots from the soil around it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dig our channel out. Now we want to dig a nice deep wide channel. I'd say about 6 to 8 inches. And this is where you can use your pick if you want to break up the soil and then scoop it out. I'm going to try to do it with the spade first, and I'll use the pick if I need it to. Okay, so this is where it was really, really important to tie up the tree, because we're going to actually be digging this channel out just like this, and you don't want to be getting poked in the face with the tree, the branches. So let's go ahead and start digging this out. Okay guys, so this is a good example of when you would need to use the pick. So we have some roots here from that tree that I just showed you, and the spade just isn't cutting it. No pun intended. So let's go ahead and work it with the pick. So now that we have our trench around, now we could actually see what we're working with, where the roots are, where they're heavy and where they're lighter. We can start shaping the ball to really make our final and end product here before we actually pop it out of the ground. So this is very important. We don't want to go too deep, but we want to try to remove a lot of the mass to make it lighter. So all we're going to do is we're going to come in on an angle and just kind of prune the roots. Just like that. So a little bit of a tip here is you can actually use the root ball to kind of push off on your shovel. It gives you a little bit more leverage when trying to separate the soil from the roots here. So if you see how I'm doing that, it gives it a nice clean edge. And we're getting close there, guys. So as you can see, I'll give you guys a little bit of a close-up. You can kind of see the channel. Okay, so now that we are we're almost ready, we're going to dig out the channel of all the loose soil in this area. We're going to flatten off the ball a little bit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to actually push the ball and kind of snap the bottom and break it free from the ground. So let's go ahead and dig out this channel a little bit more, and then we'll get to push this ball over. Okay guys, so we are ready now to push the ball out of the ground and break free the bottom roots from the earth. So what we have here is just a pry bar. Now you could use anything you want, you just need leverage here. So what we have is just a post hole digger just for the length and the leverage. So we're wedging the post hole digger under the ball, and then my father's gonna push down to pop it up. At the same time, I'm gonna push the tree itself, and we're gonna just completely push it over. So let me show you how we do this. Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so now that we've pushed the ball and freed it from the bottom, we're gonna basically manicure it and just kind of cut this bottom here. There's a lot of weight in soil that we don't need. Okay. And then once you clean that one side, you rotate it over, and then you do the same on this side. Just like this. Now this is where you would use the burlap. So if, in our case, we're not going to use the burlap, we're going to just very carefully lift it out, roll it out of the hole, and then we're going to just move it to another side of the property and plant it right in. If you were taking this off of your property on a trailer or any kind of transportation, you're going to want to wrap this with burlap so that the loose soil doesn't fall out of the root zone. So let's go ahead and roll this thing out. Okay.
One more. Nice.
All right guys, so that's how you do it from start to finish. From the wrapping to the digging to the popping out of the ground. It's always best to have a helper if you can, but it's totally doable if you're just by yourself. It'll just take a little bit more time in the digging process to really free it before you have to push it over. I have my father here, he helped me out a lot, so we were able to get this done and save a little bit of time on the digging. And use a little bit of muscle on the pushing. So whichever works, to each his own. There's definitely more than one ways to skin a cat. In this case, we skinned it clean. So I hope this was helpful. I definitely appreciate it if you guys like this type of content, to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'm going to be doing all types of backyard projects, homesteading, gardening, even adventure off the property videos coming soon. So go ahead, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.